okay, just for the next 4 or 5 minutes, I want to separate your identity, who you are, from your politics, because your politics are not your identity, and also from the beliefs of your ancestors, the beliefs that your grandparents or great grandparents held, because we have all been taught a false history, all of us. And the things that your ancestors believed are not what you believe. I could probably, if I got to know you, list a ton of things they believed that you would right now be like, oh, they didn't know. Times are different now. So let's just set them all aside and talk, not give preference to the political or racial beliefs that our ancestors held. At one point, Martin Luther King said in an essay that was called "Where Do We Go From Here?" He said, "Ever since the birth of our nation, white America has had a schizophrenic personality on the question of race. She has been torn between selves, a self in which she proudly professed the great principles of democracy, and a self in which she sadly practiced the antithesis of democracy. This tragic duality," he said, "has produced a strange indecisiveness and ambivalence toward the Black American, causing America to take a step backward simultaneously with every step forward on the question of racial justice, to be at once attracted to an African American and repelled by him, to love and to hate him. There has never been a solid, unified, and determined thrust to make justice a reality for Afro Americans." Now, he used the term Negro. I changed that just to update it. And the reason I'm saying all this is because there is very often such a negative reaction when somebody is called racist or told that something they've done or said is racist. And I don't call people racist anymore. I will label the decisions they've made, their behavior as racist, but I don't call them that. And that's because a couple of reasons. Number one, nobody thinks they're racist. I mean, David Duke of the former Grand Dragon of the KKK said he's not racist. So it's always going to, if you call somebody racist, their first reaction is always going to be defensive. I'm not racist. But also because many people are reacting based on their real feelings they have, real feelings that are a response to the lies that we have all been told since our childhood. In 1997, Abigail Thernstrom and her husband, Stephen, released this book called America in Black and White. Now, neither Abigail or Stephen were stupid people. They weren't necessarily mean people, as far as I can tell. They were conservatives and anti-affirmative action. They were pretty much on the wrong side of history for most civil rights things and deeply misunderstood racial politics and racism in the United States. But they said in this book that few whites are now racists. Now, this was in 1997. Few whites are racist, they said. And what's dominating the U.S. is Black anger and white surrender, they said. Now, I don't think they were wrong in terms of their honest feeling. Stay with me here. They were wrong, factually. But I think that when you don't realize that what you believe is based on lies, that what you believe is based on a very edited and curated slice of information that your subconscious then edits and curates even more, that can lead to kind of a shock and a defensiveness and pushback. It's like when someone says, no, I don't see color, and they're told that's a racist thing to say. Well, their reaction is going to be, no, it's not. I'm literally trying to be colorblind the way that Martin Luther King told us to be. When you look at American history and you have been lied to about American history and you say, look how far we've come, it can then feel like a betrayal when non-white people say, we really haven't come all that far. And our history is very racist, but you can see right now how determined and intentional is the attempt to edit our history to make it look as though white people are the only people who did anything important. I mean, you can see it right now. They just removed the mention of Navajo code talkers from government websites and government histories, which is a crucial part of World War II history. But when you remove that stuff, as has been done for literally centuries now, It can make you believe that the history of America is about fair-minded, determined, brilliant, mostly white men, some white women, who believed in democracy, believed in fairness, and achieved so many wonderful things. But it's been oligarchs all along, really, really wealthy people who have lied to us about America's past. And there's a lot of good reasons for them to do that. It's really good for their bottom line, right? Racism is a product of the effort to amass wealth. It's not the cause of it, right? Racism makes money for a really tiny minority of people. And so even though today they're no longer explicit about that racism, they're no longer specifically separating neighborhoods into black and white, openly declaring, like they did in Atlanta, that they want to protect white neighborhoods from the black neighborhoods. But they're still doing those things. They're just calling it something else. And the reason they're doing them is that it's good for business. And yet the lies still work for us. The lies are still being told. They still work. And when white America truly believes that they've made incredible racial progress, that's a lie we have all been told. Because that's what they were told, that's what we were told. And they're then castigated or criticized for believing in these lies and told that believing in them makes them racist. I can see how it would make them feel attacked. I don't condone it. I don't say that it's correct. I can just understand it. It can also make them falsely believe that African Americans are angry about everything, and that they're overreacting. That makes sense to me. Again, I don't think it's right. But the truth is we have all been lied to. That's why so many African Americans and Latino Americans and Hispanic Americans and Asian Americans still believe in those lies. That's why you can have Clarence Thomas declaring that racism doesn't exist anymore. And if he can make it, so can everybody else, right? We have all been lied to. But the truth is that we need at this point a third Reconstruction. Because the struggle by African Americans to get equality has historically benefited everybody except the oligarchs, except the super, super wealthy, regardless of immigration status, color, gender, religion. The fight on the part of African Americans to get civil rights has benefited everyone except the ultra wealthy. It was Black Americans during the first Reconstructive who brought public schooling to the South for everyone, including low-income whites. It has always been Black Americans who have fought for wage equality, not only Black Americans, but that's helped all workers. By supporting efforts to disenfranchise African Americans, white Americans, many white Americans have been disenfranchised as well. Many people don't realize they are disempowering themselves. But again, I end this by just saying many people still believe the lies we were all told. While that's not acceptable and it needs to be fixed, it's understandable at least, and can at least go some way to explain the way people are behaving and their reaction when they're told that their behavior hurts other people. Okay, have a good one. And as always, 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 please be kind.